Josh Stevens.
MZ, Michael Zwerling.
How in the world are you today? Be honest.
Oh, man, I am fantastic, especially because it looks like we are in good company today, for we've got all the best experts at the table right now.
We sure do. Can you hear? Can everybody hear through the headphones? Okay. Well, let's go to expert number one for the day, traditionally. That's Dave Michaels. Hi, Dave Michaels.
Good morning, MZ. How are you?
Good. What's up in the Dave Cave today?
Well, you know, the news is that we still have that sale going on through this weekend and probably through next week, because I heard the commercial playing and I would love to be out there next week as well. So this is not the last day, but it is definitely the best day to come by and pick up what you need as far as longevity products go, because right now we have the new 2.5.
Oh, you do?
Yes, we have the Tangy Tangerine 2.5. This is the same formula as the previous version, but this has added B vitamins, which will make you feel a little more peppy. And it's got a pineapple flavor, bigger scoop, so you don't have to use 2 scoops, you just use 1, but that's no big deal. The difference is the flavor and the added B vitamins, which will give you an extra kick.
I love it.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
It's fantastic stuff. It really is.
Hello. Not only that, vitamin B actually helps you reduce stress in your life.
Right.
And today, that's a great thing to do.
You know, that's I don't feel comfortable talking like that because I'm not a doctor. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff. But yes, that's exactly what it is formulated to do. It's formulated to help you deal with stress.
We have
that's
another
exactly
product that's called D-stress.
Right, and by the name you would think, oh, it must be vitamin D, but no, it's a boatload of vitamin B, which is, again, going to make you feel a lot better, and naturally, you know, versus taking some kind of weird
If your stomach is like this isn't television, but it's my fingers, you know, being very tight and twisted and miserable. If your stomach feels like that, you want to have de-stress, because it'll make your fingers limp and relax. Right?
Yeah, and the other thing we have out there, MZ, we just got this in last week, is the liquid version of Bloomin' Minerals. Now, you know that we've had the granulated version. We have 4.5-pound canisters and 40-pound bags, but this is the liquid version. 1 quart will treat, I did the math over that. I forgot how much, but we sell these in 1 quart. It's concentrated. Sprinkle it on your garden, and your garden will be much healthier. Your soil will be much healthier.
It is not a fertilizer.
It is not a fertilizer, and
it's additive. It's an additive, a soil additive loaded with minerals.
And it will stain your whatever surface is underneath. So if you have flower pots, you might want to use the granulated version instead, because this will leak through and it will stain whatever. But if it's just, you know, you're planting in soil, no problem. This is great.
Those commercials that you and Duffy did earlier, I hear playing quite a bit on the radio station. Is there a run on Bloomin' Minerals?
Yes. I mean, we still have a good supply of the 4.5-pound canisters, but if you want one of those bags, you better stop by and get it. I'm going to be out there again all week next week.
Okay.
But
and the sale is, what's the sale?
Buy your Tangy Tangerine at regular price. Everything else is 30% off. So everybody needs a Tangy Tangerine anyways.
You can't beat that.
No, you can't beat that. And if you want one of those bags of Bloomin' Minerals, you got to stop by as soon as you can, because we don't have many left.
Of the bags. Now you have plenty of the canisters,
plenty
like
of canisters,
2.5 pounds, 4.5 pounds, but the 40-pound bags are limited.
Yes, we have a handful of those left.
Yeah. Okay. Which we should order some more of them, huh?
Yeah, we probably should.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you got to get down here as soon as you can. Don't think just because I'm going to be out there next week that, I can wait. No. If you want to get your hands on what you want, you need to get down there as soon as you can. So I'll be out there until 2 o'clock today, and then all week next week, 12 till 7.
Wow, that is great, Dave Michaels. I mean, this is why they call KSCO the ultimate community service radio station. Now, Josh Stevens, do you know what this means?
It means we've got deals that'll make you squeal.
All right. Very good. It also means that it's time to start the show officially. 3, 2, 1.
Good morning. A brighter day is here. Good morning. May we bring you cheer.
We've got time, we've got tunes, we've got time, tunes, and temperature.
Get up and go, it's today, you know, on KSCO Radio.
Hello, all you people out in Radio Land. KSCO Radio Land. Welcome to the Saturday Special, hour number 1. This is going to be a special Saturday Special. It's not just going to be any old Saturday Special. How often do you get to talk about fungus nails? You never do, but you're going to get to today. Stay tuned.
Good morning. Now stay right here on KSCO Radio.
Bet, Josh Stevens, that you thought that I was joking last week when I told you that we were going to have a Saturday Fungus Foot special. Didn't you think I was kidding?
Well, considering we've had an erection special before, nothing surprises me.
An erection special instead of an election special, right?
Yep.
People thought that we were mispronouncing, but we really were not, you know?
Just like jalapenos. Or
What?
Or fajitas.
Fajitas. Oh, my God. I had fajitas yesterday.
What kind?
Beef.
Nice.
No.
Not nice.
No.
Was the beef overcooked?
It just wasn't as good as I thought it would be.
Ah, that's a shame.
And there were too many red and green peppers. I don't like red and green peppers. But my guest liked fajitas.
Very much so.
Yeah. So anyhow.
Chicken fajitas, though. That's where it's at.
Maybe that
the
was.
chicken. That's right.
All right. So anyhow, I don't want to give the impression that we're going to do 2 hours on a rather disgusting sounding topic. There's going to be way more to that. But I want to introduce our guest, whose voice you already heard for a moment with Dave, and this is a real doctor. A doctor of podiatric medicine. Did I say it right, Dr. Blasko?
Yes.
Oh.
Good morning, everybody. It's nice to be here.
Good. So you are a podiatrist.
Yes, I am a foot doctor in plain language.
Yes, Would you pull the microphone a little closer to your mouth? Good.
Yeah.
Because you have such a beautiful voice. We don't want to deprive our audience of any bit of it. Okay?
Is it okay now?
Yes. So we have never, in my memory, had a real live podiatrist on the air to answer your foot questions. And I'm sure, KSCO, you know what KSCO stands for?
No.
Keeping senior citizens occupied. Yeah, and that being what our mission is, right? A lot of senior citizens have foot problems. So being on the cutting edge, on the foreskin of science, as we are here at KSCO, we like to bring people content that they're not used to having. So, when I first attended your clinic, when I first came to see you about a year ago, I guess, in San Francisco, I decided that we have to get you on the air here. And so here you are. And we're going to talk not only about
Podiatry.
Podiatry, right. By the way, what's the difference between a podiatrist and a chiropodist? Or chiropod, however you say it, I don't know.
The chiropodist is like the optometrist for the eyes. The podiatrist is like the ophthalmologist, is the doctor.
I see.
So it's a level thing.
I see. Okay.
A podiatrist can do more things, can write prescriptions, can do surgeries, can do more doctor stuff rather than just maintenance and support.
And are all podiatrists surgeons as well, or is
Yes.
that an added thing that you get licensed for later? What? Because I know you're a surgeon also.
Yes. Today and the last 20 or so years, at least since I know about podiatry, we are trained as surgeons. We go through surgical residencies. So when a podiatrist is done with his studies, he is a surgeon. And then some of us become rear foot surgeons, some of us are forefoot surgeons, some of us do everything. And then as you go along in life, you realize that surgery, as good as it is, it just affects a portion of the population. There are lots of people who have foot issues, and surgeries cannot address their problems. What more, if most people are like my grandmother, she believed that having foot pain or leg pain is normal when you get older. So they don't even go to a doctor for that because, well, having foot pain is normal. And then, oh, if I go, they will just tell me I need to have surgery. I don't want to have surgery. So a big chunk of the population, because of that, does not even seek out podiatric care.
Wow, that's sort of sad.
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, I sought out podiatric care. I almost said pediatric, and I'm much too old for that.
But you see, you wouldn't be the only one. I was in my residency, and I was riding on the bus, and an older lady asked me, "Dear, what do you do for a living?" And I'm like, "I'm a podiatrist." And she goes, "Yo, you must be so lucky because you work all day long with small children." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So I learned over time to just say foot doctor, because that kind of makes it easy for everybody to pronounce.
Well, the reason I went to you was foot pain in my left Achilles tendon that had a bone spur, and it was sticking the tendon and making it sore and making me miserable. Somebody who loves to walk 5 to 7 miles every day suddenly couldn't do that. And so I visited you, and I found out that, you know, there are certain things that can be done to fix that, including surgery, but you didn't recommend. You know, that's the last thing, not the first thing, right?
You told me you did not want any surgery,
yes.
so why would I keep on talking about it?
That's a good point. Well, I mean, yeah, it's true. But if someone told you they did not want surgery, and for some problem they had with their foot, and you knew that the only way they were going to have relief is with surgery, maybe there's not such a thing, but if there was, I feel that you would be very upfront with the patient.
Sure.
Say, you might not like surgery, but I got news for you. You're going to have it, or be prepared to live with your pain.
Sure. I would say whatever needs to be done. And, you know, then if the patient, like you, for instance, if you would say, I still don't want surgery, we would definitely look for solutions to ameliorate your problems. But you would have to understand that the outcome would not be what you expect it to be.
And not better.
Right.
Right? I mean, it's obvious.
Right.
Okay.
So it's a choice, and every patient has a choice.
Right. Okay. Then I found out that there are certain things that, you know, as I'm an older person, Oh, you know what's happening? You're listening to the show, and we're getting a delay on that, and it's feeding back through the microphone. Okay. That's pretty funny. So anyhow, we're talking with Dr. Magdalena. Did I say it right?
Magdalena Blasko.
Magdalena Blasko. What a very unprofessional. I think that's the first time I've introduced the guest properly, and it still isn't proper because I haven't given any of your bio. Let's talk about you, how you found yourself headed for a career in podiatric medicine. By the way, you were born in Hungary, correct?
In Romania.
You were born.
I'm a Hungarian born in Romania.
Oh, born in Romania. Okay, I knew there was a Romanian connection here, but for some reason I thought you had been born in Hungary and then moved to Romania.
All my relatives are Hungarian. But after the Second World War, the borders were shifted. So they suddenly became Romanian citizens. But it does not mean that they are not Hungarian ethnicity,
Right.
right? So if
You
my parents...
can't take your ethnicity away, no matter how hard you
Right.
try to.
Right. So you stay a Hungarian because your parents are Hungarian. And the citizenship is totally different. Like, I'm a Hungarian here, but I'm an American citizen.
Okay. And that is yet another and a very powerful reason that I wanted you as a guest on KSCO, because I am very, very admiring of people who are born in other countries and choose to come to America to live their lives. And I know you did that quite a number of years ago. Can you please tell us about that, how that happened and why and so forth?
Well, I was raised in a socialist regime, and anybody who knows anything about socialism, they know it's not good. You don't even have to know details to know that it's not good. And everybody wants to live a better life. And you look around in the world and you go, where could I go where I can have a good life, where I can be assimilated into society without the stigma of a foreigner? Mm-hmm. And America, the United States, is a country like that. It has its doors open for anybody who is productive in the society. At least a couple of years, like 30 years ago, this is how it was. You had to go through screening, psychological testing. You had to prove that you can sustain yourself in society and you don't become a burden to the system. And then they would let you come in. And I ended up here. And then I came here, and then I realized that whatever degrees or papers I had back home, here are worth nothing. So I decided to go to school. Because I figured I need documentation that anybody can understand if I want to move forward. And then I enrolled into undergraduate. I did that, then I did podiatry school, then I did residency.
At what age did you decide that you wanted to leave Romania?
I was in my mid-20s when I left.
Okay.
I was in my mid-20s, and then...
Were you in the health profession there?
No, I was teaching biology in high school.
I see.
And then I worked for a while at a company in their little payroll division. You know, we made those little perforated cards for payroll.
Yeah.
And the moment it became clear that I'm trying to move away, I lost my job, I lost my security clearance, I lost everything. So I kind of just waited to come out.
How long did it take for you to be able to leave?
More than 2 years.
Wow.
I'm not quite sure, 2 years and 3 months or so.
And did you have to be sponsored by someone in this
My
country?
husband was already here, and he was able to make it happen only with senatorial intervention.
Your husband, you were already married?
Yes.
I see. So you were married in Romania?
In 86.
I see. Okay. And so you must have come to this country, what, in 88?
90, maybe.
Oh,
90.
okay. Oh, wow.
January 90.
Right. Okay. Good. And you came directly to San Francisco?
No, I came to Santa Barbara first because my husband was having a position there. And then I went to UC Santa Barbara for 4 years. And during that time, I was pregnant twice, so I have 2 babies. I had 2 babies during that time, and I worked part-time. And then I applied to podiatry school, and I came to San Francisco, and the rest of it, as they say, it's history.
Ah, okay. So you've been in San Francisco since, what,
95.
95. Okay, wow, 26 years ago. That's amazing. Okay, and so, yeah, I want to relate some of my personal experience with you as a podiatrist. I told the audience why I visited you in the first place, but there were some other amazing experiences, and I'm going to relate the most important of which right now. I'm type 2 diabetic. And I don't take insulin shots yet. I mean, maybe I should, but I don't. I'd rather not. I try to keep everything under control with diet and exercise. And I do a lot of walking and hiking exercise. And when I have a problem with the foot, it cuts into the hiking and walking exercise, obviously. That's not good at all. So that's why I went to you. But while I was there, and I'm over 65, so I am on Medicare, which is wonderful, health insurance. And I was told that if you're on Medicare, you can, as an older person, come and have your toenails clipped. Now, I didn't feel like I needed to have my toenails clipped because I'm perfectly capable of clipping my own toenails. I mean, it's not that bad yet, maybe someday, but why not have them clipped professionally by someone who really knows what they're doing? And so that was you, and I decided to take advantage of this free service courtesy of our government, right? And while you were doing that, you noticed some things that were not right, that I didn't feel. You noticed the beginning of an infection, like
a wound under the nail plate, right?
A wound under the nail plate, yeah. And I didn't have any pain about that, and I think that the problem with the Achilles tendon had been cleared up, and I was walking normally again. I just came in to have a routine every 2 or 3 months, whatever it is, nail clipping that I was entitled to, right? And while I was doing that with you, you noticed this beginning of what could have become a really serious infection that I never felt and was totally surprised.
People don't realize that nail cutting or nail clipping, like you call it, actually involves a lot of nail thinning. Most diabetic patients have very thick fungal nails, and they don't feel the pain, and it's very easy because of that thickness to have wounds under the nail plate, and you don't see them, you don't feel them, and then suddenly there's an infection goes to the bone, and then a bone infection, most people know that sooner or later ends up in an amputation. So this is why Medicare or the government pays for prevention. It's ulceration, amputation, prevention. This is what they pay for, because they don't pay for nail care just because, let's say you have back pain or you don't see good.
Yeah.
They pay only if you have diabetes, neuropathy, or severe vascular issues.
Yeah, which I didn't have. I had diabetes, but no neuropathy, thank God. I've had it for over 21 years. And another thing I learned from you is just because you don't have, tingling, or numbness in your feet does not mean that you don't have neuropathy.
Correct.
Fascinating. I never would have thought that in a million years.
Yes, this is how it is. The tingling, it's some people lose their nerve function by feeling tingling or weird sensations, but other people just simply lose the feeling they're feeling in their feet and they don't know. Not having pain is really not something good. Pain is a warning mechanism not to do certain things.
Well, I suppose I should be thankful that I currently have some pain in my left Achilles, because it's an alarm that I should not be doing what I normally do, and that's walk quite a bit, at least for a while, hopefully not permanently.
And not permanently, because there are treatments that can be provided, also some support like an insert or brace if needed, and you can go back to your regular activities. The purpose of what's maintenance podiatry is to keep you walking as long as possible without discomfort. It's not to immobilize you or prepare you for surgery or none of that. It's to keep you functional for as long as you can.
This is a good thing. This is a very, very good thing. We're talking with Dr. Magdalena Blasko. She is my podiatrist, whom I highly recommend. It takes an hour and a half in normal traffic to go to her office, which is on Geary Street, 1600 Geary Street in San Francisco, right in Japantown. And an amazing lady and an amazing doctor too. So if you want to call in and ask Dr. Blasko a question, podiatric question, yeah, or any other question, or maybe ask her to tell a joke. Whatever you want, you can call 479-1080 or email mz@ksco.com. We've had a person on the line since the beginning of the program. And so let's see what Bonnie in Capitola would like to know about her feet. Hi, Bonnie in Capitola.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Bonnie.
My feet. Okay. I guess. Let me look at them. Hi, guys. Okay.
You
I
have two of
happy
them,
feet.
right?
You have
Okay.
two of them.
Yes.
You have two of them.
I
Excellent.
have very happy feet. Happy feet because I've taken care of them all their lives, and I don't wear bad shoes for them. I wear good shoes for them, and I exercise them, and they like to swim, and I've worn fins a lot, and they seem to be clean and neat, and I know how to cut them without cutting them down the sides, and so they've never, as far as I know, been infected. But listening to you, I'm looking at them wondering if they're infected underneath the toenails anywhere. I don't see any real discoloration. Maybe a little discoloration like going in, which I try to keep off of there. I trim it off straight.
It sounds like you don't have any foot issues that are bothering you. It sounds like, right?
I do know, but lately I do have some foot issues, and that's why listening to the doctor here that explain tingling sensations. I have some tingling sensations in my toes lately, and that I've been wondering about, looking at them because they look happy, and I think they have been happy all their lives, but now they're starting to tingle a little bit. And I think it's got to do with the pandemic and the fact that they're not being used as often, as much as they were. And they haven't swam near as much as they like.
Oh, my God.
So that, I have a feeling, is a tingling, but I'm wondering, do I have a fungus?
Well, the best thing to do is have them checked out, because tingling could be also for mechanical reasons, like how you are stepping. Maybe the nerve has become more superficial than it was before because some of the fat pad is missing or something. And, you just have it checked out. And if the answer is no, then it's no. And you then can be happy in the future. You don't have to live worrying about stuff that you are not sure about.
You can live with it without worrying about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if you have a question, then this will keep on pestering you. And that's not necessary.
Well, yeah, they are tingling somewhat. I do know I'm quite sure I know that it's a muscular thing why they're tingling. That would be my guess, because I have, like I said, they're used to swimming a lot, moving, and they're used to being in fins some of the time. And I've had quite a few accidents since 2003.
What kind of accidents, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, well.
You don't have to say,
Well, it's okay. I had a couple work accidents, that took me out. And I got over those. I'm pretty strong and all of that. And so then I fell, though, and broke my right hip and had to have that replaced.
Oh,
It
no.
was a major accident. Workman's comp, like I said, 2 work accidents. Workman's comp did not come through. In fact, they looked the other way and checked me off.
Okay,
And so when I broke my hip, that was a double whammy for the doctor.
This already tells me that it's way more complicated that can be discussed,
Yes,
in
it
a
is.
short radio program.
Definitely.
So
It's definitely.
with all these issues going on, I definitely recommend seeking out medical help, a podiatrist. Bring all your medical information with you, so they actually know what has happened in the past, And I'm sure this tingling and even the fungus or whatever other questions you have can be answered in the office much better than in this setting.
Okay, Bonnie, thanks for calling 479-1080. Here's Craig in Campbell. Hey, Craig, you're on KSCO.
Yeah, hi, MZ. Before I get to my question, the problems with your foot, Michael, you ever tried just walking barefoot on the sand and hitting the water and all those nice minerals, healthy minerals, that could help? I don't know. Ask the doctor if that might help your feet. Just walking along the shore, you're right there.
I've done it.
Barefooted.
I've done it, but I didn't think it didn't make my feet feel better. It just didn't do one thing or another, except it got me sandy so that I rubbed sand into my floor at the house.
Yeah, you do it consistently, though? I mean,
No,
you just don't do
absolutely
it.
not. No. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Right.
doctor, what do you say about that? Is Craig on to something?
Well, the opinions are split on this. Sand usually provides like a nice foot massage, and if you have no major issues, it's really helpful. But some of the medical conditions that people have are actually more aggravated, because it creates balance problems or aggravates balance problems, better said.
I see. Okay. So, Craig, do you have any
Okay.
other questions?
Yeah, well, I do. That ocean water, the minerals in there might help too, just sloshing through that. But, yeah, my question is, I've started hiking barefooted, getting used to that, toughen up my feet a little bit. And, I heard it's good for your body to walk barefoot on the ground anyways. And I'm wondering what your podiatrist doctor has to say about that.
Again, that depends on your own particular foot. When Aborigines work barefoot, for them it's best because their entire life they have walked barefoot. We are raised to walk in shoes, so our joints, muscles, our lower extremities in general are used to walking in shoes. So walking barefoot is not something that we do naturally anymore. If your foot allows you and you have no pain when you walk barefoot, it's good to do it. But if it creates pain, then there's no reason to insist doing it.
It will toughen up the surfaces of your foot down there, right? I mean, I noticed that. I'm getting used to hiking in the hills barefooted. I used to, do a lot of yard work around here barefooted, but it's not like new to me going barefooted. But, yeah, I mean, it will toughen up your feet anyways, don't you think?
Yes, it will thicken your skin. Toughen up your feet, not so much. Also, if people have neuropathy of any sort, walking barefoot is actually contraindicated because you can injure yourself and you would never feel it. It can get infected, and by the time you figure it out that it's a problem, it could be too late.
When you say too late, what does that mean?
Well, some infections go to the bone. The sole of the foot has really very little soft tissue. So an infection on the surface goes very quickly into the depths of the foot and to the bone. If people have neuropathy, usually they feel an infection or a problem with their foot when the bone is impacted. They don't feel it while it's in the soft tissue. So you go to the doctor and your bone has an infection. Well, the first thing they do to see if they can treat it with IV antibiotics, but most of the time situations like that, especially in the forefoot, end up in amputations. So walking barefoot with neuropathy is a major no-no.
So I must never do it, not that I want to.
Well, you would have to be tested. It's really not. It's a small 10-minute test. You come to the office, we stick some pads to you, we start the machine, and it tells us clearly, are you neuropathic or not? If you are not, then you can walk barefoot because there's no danger to it, right? You did it as a child.
Yeah.
But if you have neuropathy, then you clearly cannot do it because you don't know what's going on under your sole.
Okay.
Well, take a little little bit of a chance there, Michael. I say just take it little by little and build up and see what you can do.
Listen,
you know,
I've come through life just fine. Thank you, Craig. Without going barefoot at all. I don't have the need nor the desire to go barefoot.
Okay, I have another quick question. I've read that Epsom salt with vitamin C powder soak your feet, and that does pretty good things for your feet. Do you know anything about that, Doc?
It helps with reducing the inflammation and the swelling in your feet. There is no danger to it. You know, you have to check the temperature, usually with your elbow, to make sure that it's not too hot. But Epsom salt and vitamin C, they are great. It's no problem with that.
Yeah, soaking it right in vitamin C. What
Right.
I'm saying. Also, one more quick one. Okay, you're a foot doctor. Do you work much with ankle? Do you know anything about good exercise? Maybe I can make an appointment and find out. You have some good exercise.
phone number?
For
That's
ankles?
excellent. The phone number is 415-353-5715. Also, we have a website, and you can make your appointment without calling into the office. And it's blaskodpm.com.
BLASKODVPM.com. Okay.
Where's your office at? In San Francisco?
Japantown.
In Japantown, and we have a garage next to it immediately. So it's easy to leave the car there.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thanks for all your time and answering questions.
It was my pleasure, Greg.
Thank you, Craig, for calling 479-1080. It looks like we have another call, but it's being screened. I have an email from, who is it? Why, it's from Derek. Derek wants to know, hi, MZ, I have peripheral neuropathy. It is not diabetes related. I have had this constant condition for 11 years. It is post 4 back surgeries. Can you please ask your guest doctor about this? Thank you, Derek.
Hello, Derek. Question. What exactly is the question? What is it that you need to know or
Why don't
want
you
to
just
know?
call in, Derek, at 479-1080 in area 831. That's the best way to do it. Because usually the doctor needs to ask you some questions, you know. So 479-1080, we have open lines here now. So now is a really good time to call and talk to Dr. Blasko about any foot-related question you may have. Okay, so let's see here. Diabetes. Diabetes is it an epidemic?
Well, we made it one with our lifestyle, with our diet choices. We made it one. Also, we know more about it because we are testing it more regularly. And there was a time when, unless you complained of specifically diabetic symptoms, nobody would test for it. Now we are testing on a regular basis. So we are catching it much more early than before. We even have a notion like pre-diabetes, which was not something 10 years ago.
Yeah, they just invented it seems like,
Well,
right?
they realized that diabetes starts much earlier than we are diagnosing it as diabetes proper. And it starts with insulin resistance. So you are starting to develop side effects of the diabetes much earlier. So taking care of your circulation, of your nerves, of your diet, and everything. The sooner you start, the longer you can function, the longer you maintain your body as it is without ending up with those horrible things like macular degeneration, dialysis, things like this that can really alter the quality of life.
Would you believe you have loaded up the phone lines? It is impossible for anybody else to call right now.
I'm
So if you-
sorry.
No, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And yeah, if you're on the phone now, if you're going to call, you're going to get a busy signal right now. But as soon as we're finished with our next caller, who is none other than Richard N. Watsonville. Hi, Richard. Great to hear from you. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you, Michael, and I'm glad you had this guest on today because I've had foot problems ever since Vietnam. They did both of my feet twice in Vietnam, and they've done both of my feet twice since I've been home, and they're called matrixectomies. And my question is, have they gotten the matrixectomies perfected yet, or are they still just a mess? I mean, my toes, I got 10 toes, and 3 of them have toenails.
Well, I don't know about that, but my matrixectomies are not a mess. So
Well,
That's a good thing.
It's not a laughing matter, man.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry.
I know. I just liked it how you put it. Let's say it this way. They actually are very simple procedure, and
Yeah, you're awake during both of them. And the thing that got me was afterwards, after they removed the matrix, you almost have no control as to which way the nail is going to come back out. It's not supposed to come out.
well, if it's a matrixectomy, that means that the nail root was killed, right?
The matrix, right.
Was killed, right? So it shouldn't be growing back. But if the nail is growing back, they probably did not do a matrixectomy. They just did an avulsion where they removed the nail to help you with the pain.
Oh, do they have chemicals now?
They do them with chemical now. They burn out the place where the root is supposed to be, so it's not growing back. And the direction at which the nail is growing, it depends on how you are walking.
Yeah, they never grow back normal.
Right.
They always twist up and turn, go different directions.
Because nail growth has to do with how your toes go when you are walking. Kind of like how the tree is bending when the wind is always blowing from one direction.
Wait a minute, Doc. No shoes. Keep that in mind. No shoes, only slippers.
But you are still using your toes when you are walking, right?
Yes, I am, but I don't wear the shoes because of the fungus and what they call the spores. So I don't know, but the Veterans has a whole different way of doing it. They don't use the chemicals, I think. They just go in there and chop it out with a knife.
Well, I used to be a resident at the Veterans Hospital, and their podiatry department is excellent.
Oh, I have the best podiatrist in the world.
Yeah.
I love her to death. I mean, she showed my wife how to do the servicing on my nails at home. So I don't have to go to her all the time. Very basic, very simple. There's not much there. But I'm just wondering if they've got, you say they've got chemicals now they can pour in there. That's pretty good.
Yes, yes. And it's a fairly simple procedure. It almost takes longer to set up the table than to do the procedure.
Uh-huh.
So,
yeah, well, there's no nails there. Most of them, they're just a stub, you know. And that's about it.
but I also understand that you have fungus in your nails, and that will impact how the nail looks ultimately.
Yes,
it's
it
not
does.
just a procedure.
But it's easier to control that way without wearing the shoes, or that's what they've told me. They give the other diabetes people shoes once a year, and they have to be a special shoe. And they go to a special place and get this special shoe, and they wear them around. And I don't get any because of the matrixectomies.
You probably don't get any if you don't have diabetes. Matrixectomy is not an impediment to wearing shoes.
No, I have the diabetes.
Then something was
And
lost
the
in the
neuropathy.
translation.
Oh, no.
Okay.
That's not good.
What happened?
Well, no, you have neuropathy. I didn't know that. I didn't know you had diabetes either.
That goes throughout the whole body.
I knew you had Agent Orange afflictions, but wow.
Got exposed to it, they say.
Yeah.
But, the rest of it's just kind of like getting old.
Yeah.
The problem with just getting old, period.
Getting more experience, not old. There's no such thing.
Well, no, like you said, you could probably determine whether someone has diabetes early, but you don't have young people running around checking their blood sugar.
Well, once somebody turns in their 40s, primary doctors tend to check their sugar on a regular basis now.
I'll bet the sugar those 20 and 30-year-olds eat, and even the teenagers, has got to do something to their blood sugar. So I'm sure you could detect it earlier just by weight alone.
Yeah, this is usually a job that the primary doctors do. We as podiatrists, we get you only when you are already diagnosed.
Right.
So we are going with a diagnosis, and then we are dealing with the side effects of diabetes. The same like eye doctors do, or nephrologists, the kidney doctors do. We are not really involved in the detection of diabetes. That's a primary or family doctor job.
I think it even has something to do with my glaucoma.
That too, Richard in Watsonville?
Yes, sir.
You're a mess.
Total mess.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
even an A flutterer, not an A
Jeez.
fibber, but an A flutter. In other words, my heart is going too damn fast, 150 beats a minute.
Well, that's
And
too
to
much.
And to slow it down, they put that electric thing and shock my heart.
God.
Makes it go back down to normal.
Well, we still love you and am happy to hear from you. We don't call as often, but we love it when you do.
Hey, take care. I'll see you.
You too,
Take
Richard.
care. Bye-bye.
Here's Ann in Santa Cruz. Welcome to the Saturday Special with Dr. Blasko and MZ.
Thank you. I wanted to ask the doctor about bunions. I'm 72. I've always worked standing up. I've always walked around the house barefooted. I used to wear flip-flops all the time. I did buy good shoes for work, and so it's starting to get worse, and I haven't been to a doctor yet about it. So any suggestions?
So what does it mean they get worse? They get bigger or they hurt more?
It's getting bigger. Then
Does-
sometimes at night when I'm laying there, it kind of hurts a little bit sometimes.
So it hurts a little bit, and it does not hurt all the time. You can still do what needs to be done. So you probably just need to be checked out and see if you need some sort of insert support to reduce the movement in that joint so it's not so painful. Maybe a small injection with amniotic fluid to remove the pain before you even think of anything like surgery. I don't think the pain warrants surgery at this point.
Okay. All right. So maybe sometime I can come up and make an appointment with you.
I would love
Is
to
that
see you.
something Okay,
It's like you
great.
know her already. It's like, oh, you're Ann in Santa Cruz. That'll be good.
Yeah.
Okay.
With in bed for a week with, I guess, pneumonia. Thought it was COVID, but it's not.
Oh,
Thank
I'm
God.
sorry.
Anyway. Yeah.
We want to get
All
into
right. Well, thanks.
a discussion of vaccines. Well, no, that's okay, Ann. Thank you
Yeah.
for calling 479-1080.
Okay.
Next hour
Thanks,
with
Doctor.
Dr. Blasko, we're going to get into some things about vaccines and some other things, okay?
Injections, not vaccines.
Injections, okay. Injections, yeah, that would be very good. Okay. Duffy. Hi, Duffy.
Zwerling, I finally got you.
You're the busiest man in the world.
No, I never got return calls. I've been trying to reach you.
Okay. Here, you got me now. So.
But anyway, I know. That's why I called I finally could get you on the air.
Okay.
But anyway, so I got a question for your friend there. What causes foot odor? I've had foot odor all my life, but once I stopped using drugs, the foot odor went away. So, is there any correlation to drug use, and how does it? Can it make your feet smell?
Well, smelly feet are usually from fungus.
There you go.
Right. And when you are using drugs, your immune system is suppressed. The fungus is a parasite, so we'll have a great life. The lower your immune system is, the more fungus you grow, the smellier you are.
Okay, that answers that. But, so I had psoriasis in my nails. Was that something that was causing that fungus?
Well, it did not help it. It does not cause it directly, no.
Okay. Well, that answers my questions. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Would look forward to getting a call after the show. Thank you very much.
Okay, Duffy. Okay. I promise.
Have a great day, you
Okay,
guys.
you too.
I love
Duffy,
you
take
guys.
care.
Great show.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Here's Tammy in San Jose. Hi, Tammy in San Jose.
Hi, how are you?
Just
Hi,
fine.
Tammy.
Hi. Your accent is just absolutely beautiful.
Oh, thank you so much.
I was curious, where does it come from?
It's Hungarian. I was born in Romania.
Hungarian.
Mhm.
Oh, wow. Okay, thank you. And you're Dr.
Dr.
What is your
Blasko.
name? Can you spell that for me?
Blasko. So
Blasko,
you can
okay.
do
Dr.
a
Blasko.
Google search and you'll find nothing but 5 stars.
Thank
I
you.
think So
Thank you. Okay, so I have sobered myself up. I'm trying to eat a very low sugar diet. I've been to the emergency room here in Santa Clara County, 2 different ones. Actually 3 different hospitals. They're telling me I'm not diabetic, and I'm having tingling and pins and needles in my hands and feet. When I wake up in the morning, sometimes my whole hand is completely numb or my foot is numb. It's very odd. I asked them specifically. I've had blood work done extensively. They've told me, and I also have very much blurriness in my vision. I just went and had an eye exam just a couple of weeks ago, and with my feet, I have clubbed toes. And actually, I used to have just really the structure and bone structure of my feet was very attractive, and now it looks quite different. And so my toes in my left foot are clubbed, and 2 of my toes separated in a very strong manner. And again, I did quit the alcohol. I got into a very painful heartache, and I started drinking to cope. And of course, this is extremely destructive. So I am sober. I am I'm trying not to eat any sugar. But I've gone to the hospital, like I said, several times, and I thought it was the pins and needles. I thought that maybe it was gabapentin because I was taking 300 milligrams of gabapentin. The only thing the gabapentin seemed to do for me was cause me to have withdrawals if I didn't take it. But of course, when the doctor
Angeline.
first... Okay, I'll be quiet.
I know you talked enough for me to understand certain things. Like what people don't seem to realize that alcohol, drugs, lack of vitamins, and there are all slew of other reasons can create neuropathy, not just diabetes. So you can have a perfectly blooming neuropathy without having diabetes. And it needs to be investigated to see to which level it is, if anything can be done beyond medication. And this needs to be examined, tested, examined. But just because you have no diabetes, it's not reasonable to assume that what you complain of is not neuropathy.
Tammy, thanks for calling 479-1080. We have to leave now because it's the end of the first hour. But Harold in Monterey, Brian in Watsonville, downtown Owl, and Tony in Live Oak, please stay with us because we have hour number 2 straight ahead of today's Saturday special with Dr. Blasko and poor old MZ. Coming your way and right here on KSCO Santa Cruz Salinas.
The KSCO studio, upper 60s today, tonight, lows in the lower 40s. Sunday, keeping it in the 70s overnight, lows in the lower 40s, and upper 60s expected by Monday. Time now for hour 2 of the Saturday special on KSCO.
Josh Stevens.
MZ.
I have a special birthday greeting today.
Oh boy.
For one of my favorite people in the world.
And who might that be?
Tom Lehrer.
The name rings a bell.
Yeah. Tom Lehrer because he turned 93 yesterday. I learned when I was listening to a satellite broadcast on 60s on 6 on Sirius XM. I was listening to that, and the DJ came on and said there were a certain number of birthdays yesterday, and he says, and then he said, and Tom Lehrer, and I know Tom Lehrer. He's a very famous person. I don't know him real well. He and I went to lunch at the Crow's Nest a few years ago.
Nice.
And we had a wonderful lunch together. I could not get him to come on and be interviewed on KSCO. It's sort of like Doris Day before she passed. Actually, it's not like Doris Day because Doris Day would come on. I did get to interview her for 10 minutes once, you know, in July of 2007. I never got to interview Tom Lehrer, and I'd love to. Maybe I can convince him, but whether I can or cannot, I got to say happy birthday, Tom Lehrer. And I'm going to play one of his little things. It's a little tinny, but the audio is fine. It's going to come out of my phone. What do you want to say?
All right, real quickly. For what it's worth, if nothing else, at least you two got to masticate together.
All right, that's all. Right. He's very, very witty. He was in his 40s when he became one of the most famous people. He probably, to this day, is the world's ranking satirist. Now, there are a lot of people who haven't heard of him who are younger people because he stopped performing in the 70s. And he was actually, he did a stint for probably a decade or two as a professor of math at UC Santa Cruz. But here's an example of someone like Doris Day, who turned his back on fame, and I don't know about fortune. I know nothing about that, but he turned his back on fame a number of years ago. I think it had something to do with when Reagan was elected, but I'm not sure. I can't swear to that. But in any case, I'm going to play a little bit as to honor the 93rd anniversary of Tom Lehrer's birth yesterday, okay, April 9th. 1928, I think. Anyhow, here.
1 week of every year is designated National Brotherhood Week. This is just one of many such weeks honoring various worthy causes. One of my favorites is National Make Fun of the Handicapped Week, which Frank Fontaine and Jerry Lewis are in charge of, as you know. During National Brotherhood Week, various special events are arranged to drive home the message of brotherhood. This year, for example, on the first day of the week, Malcolm X was killed, which gives you an idea of how effective the whole thing is. I'm sure we all agree that we ought to love one another, and I know there are people in the world who do not love their fellow human beings, and I hate people like that. Here's a song about National Brotherhood Week. Oh, the white folks hate the black folks, and the black folks hate the white folks. To hate all but the right folks is an old established rule, but during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, Lena Horne and Sheriff Clark are dancing cheek to cheek. It's fun to eulogize the people you despise, as long as you don't let them in your school. Oh, the poor folks hate the rich folks, and the rich folks hate the poor folks. All of my folks hate all of your folks. It's American as apple pie. But during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, New Yorkers love the Puerto Ricans 'cause it's very chic. Step up and shake the hand of someone you can't stand. You can tolerate him if you try. Oh, the Protestants hate the Catholics, and the Catholics hate the Protestants, and the Hindus hate the Muslims, and everybody hates the Jews. But during National Brotherhood Week, National Brotherhood Week, it's national, everyone smile at one anotherhood week. Be nice to people who are inferior to you. It's only for a week, so have no fear. Be grateful that it doesn't last all year.
I'm so tempted to let this play the rest of the show, but I told Harold in Monterey, Brian in Watsonville, and downtown Owl, and Tony in Live Oak to please stay tuned, and they have, so it wouldn't be nice. Anyhow, happy birthday, Tom Lehrer, 93, and way more to go. We keep our fingers crossed. I can't wait to see Tom. I haven't seen him for a while. I think he might be back east because I know he goes between Santa Cruz and Cambridge. In any case, it's welcome to hour number 2 of the Saturday special. I know it doesn't feel like hour 2, but I'm going to make it feel like hour 2 right now.
Oh, hello, darling. I hate to hang up on you, but I'm sorry, baby, but I have to go. It's time for that wonderful record show. I'd love to visit, but you'll have to call back. KSCO has the inside track.
And we are pleased to have Dr. Magdalena Blasko. Blasko. What kind of a host can't even pronounce the name of his guest? That's horrible.
I'm sorry, baby, but I really gotta go to KSCO Radio. Bye.
May I ask you a personal question out there? Not you, Josh Stevens, just the listeners in general. Do your feet stinks? If they do, this is a perfect, you're going to love MZ and KSCO, because what other station gives you an opportunity to talk to a world-class podiatrist? I've never heard of such a station. We are it. 479-1080, that's an area 831, or you can email mz at ksco.com. Dr. Blasko is here to answer your foot question. Now, by the way, there was Michael Maxwell, a.k.a. Colonel Terry, sent an email. What cures toenail fungus? Does the lady have a cure or provide treatments that are fully effective to cure and stop toenail fungus? Thank you, Colonel Terry. What do you think, Dr. Blasko?
Hi, Colonel Terry. How are you doing today?
He can't answer because it was an email.
But he's listening.
Oh, I guess he can answer himself without,
There's no 100% cure for anything on this planet. Fungus is a parasite. Once you had it, it's yours to carry. We take care of the symptoms, but it will come back. So, does that answer your question?
Well, I'll answer for Colonel Terry. Yes, it did answer my question, and I didn't like the answer, but I'll have to accept it.
There's no 100% cure for anything. There are things that we can do to make nails look better, and then when the symptoms reappear, then we redo the treatment. But there's no such thing that 100%.
Okay. All righty. We're going to go back to the phone lines. Almost jammed. I think we have space for one more caller, but at 479-1080, that's an area code 831. You can always you can always email mz at ksco.com. Here is Brian in Watsonville. Hi, Brian in Watsonville. How are you?
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
I've had a foot problem with my right heel for quite a few years now. I've been to a foot doctor, and they told me that I didn't have plantar fasciitis. And then I went back 2 weeks later, and they said that I might have plantar fasciitis, and they wanted to give me a shot. I elected no. Then I went back to another doctor, and he says, we need to make an insert for you. That should help you out. Well, we did that. It didn't work. So the problem that I'm having is I have heel pain, and it hurts most while I'm resting my foot on the floorboard of my car while I'm driving. I've had x-rays, I've had an MRI, and they told me that it looks like I have a cyst on my heel.
So the question is what it is, or what to do with it, or what exactly are you asking?
I want to know your thoughts and quite possibly a remedy for what's going on.
Well, in order for me to say anything halfway intelligent, I would have to see it, because so many doctors have looked at it and all you can tell me what they have done before. And apparently whatever they did, it did not work. So I have to see exactly what it is. Usually treatments work when the diagnosis is correct. So my first reaction would be that the whole thing needs to be re-examined with fresh eyes and maybe come up with a different diagnosis than plantar fasciitis. And then that would be a first step.
Yeah, I actually have a doctor appointment on Monday with Dr. Abidi in Capitola. And he's the doctor who recommended that I get the inserts, which I did, and they didn't work.
Well, you told me just now that your heel is mostly hurting when you're driving. So inserts do not work when you're driving. Inserts work only when you are weight bearing, when you are walking or running.
Cool.
So inserts couldn't have helped that particular problem. So this is why I'm saying that everything needs to be re-examined with a fresh eye, because inserts and plantar fasciitis does not seem to be the problem. They are doing the treatments for it and it's not working. So it's probably something else.
Okay, hope that helps. Hope that helps Brian in Watsonville. Here comes Harold in Monterey. Hi, Harold in Monterey. Welcome to the Saturday Special with Dr. Blasko and MZ.
Hi, it's a great program. Treatments work when the diagnosis is correct. Wow, what a concept!
Right, isn't it?
Wonderful. It is. It's like, oh my gosh, of course. And Tom Lear, I'm 77, so I didn't pay enough attention to him, but he is great.
He's fantastic.
So I have a problem, or I wouldn't have phoned. I am 77, which I said. My grandfather had a bunion. I've got a bunion. My mother had a bunion. Now, that's all good. I worked around that. Just recently, 6 months or so ago, I think it's the ball of the foot, sort of in the middle of the foot, up near the toes, the second toe over. I have a lot of pain. And at first I thought, well, it'll just go away. But it hasn't gone away. And I did see a podiatrist. And that second toe also it doesn't separate from the big toe. It's sort of like crooked over there. And the front of it has a right-hand turn that's sort of like a club toe down. And it's like, what's going on with that thing? And a podiatrist I saw said, well, you might need surgery, but here's an orthotic, I got an orthotic from him. And I don't know, do I have a question?
Yeah, do you? That's what we're waiting for. I mean, God, the whole show is going by, and you're just rambling on and on. We love you, but why don't you ask a question of the good doctor?
Well, what is my question?
Why don't you call back when you formulated it, okay? All right, thank you for calling. Here's Tony in Live Oak.
Hi, MZ.
We know you're not going to waste the valuable airtime, Tony, because you're...
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I was going to give you some break of humor, but I'd like to talk to Dr. Magdalena. Give me her two first names. And Blasko, I believe...
Blasko.
Belasco or Blasko?
Blasko, B-L-A-S-K-O.
Oh, B-L-A. Thank you very much. Okay, well, doctor, I've had... my toes are losing their sensation. They look pretty good, except they all have fungus. All the nails have fungus, and I feel it's once in a while that the fungus is trying to get into my body because I have shooting pains once a week or so, but they go away as soon as I massage the toes. Now, what's interesting to me is that I keep my nails, under control with a little grinder. I extend them right down, and they look almost normal. But I noticed that the tips of my toes are almost as hard as the nails. I mean, they're like bone. I can actually grind the tips of the skin, and I don't even feel it.
You just have to be careful because the bone in the tip of your toe is very close to the skin. So if you have no feeling in your toe, it's very easy to grind enough where your bone will stick out of your toe.
Oh, yeah, I would see blood. Yeah, I would see blood in that. In that case, I would see blood, but I don't see blood.
No, actually, there's not a lot of blood in there. It's not a lot of blood because you have that hard skin there, and that has no blood in it whatsoever.
Well, I think we will continue this because I will come to be a patient of yours sometime. I've been suffering this years and years, but the feet are the farthest thing away from my mind, so I don't think about it too much.
Yeah, because you don't use them every day. This is why.
That's right. Okay, well, I will try. I will try. Hey, listen, can you tell me about? You're pronouncing the X with a little ishko, like a Blasko?
Yes, because it's Hungarian.
That's right. I play chess with the Hungarian karate champion of the world. His name is Daniel, and he's got two sons that have taken over for him. He's living in Del Mar, California right now with my ex daughter-in-law. And so anyway, I'm very familiar with it. Well, I also speak Polish, so there is a slight likeness.
And Tony is very, 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 very old. Much older than he sounds.
Well, okay, thank you. Well, I'm 86 years old.
And I wish you another 100 on top of it.
Okay, well, I'm going on 45 myself. And I think so. Anyway,
Tony, thank you for calling 479-1080. Here's Downtown Owl. Now, I got to tell you, Al, we missed your phone calls. At least, maybe you called in. I just missed it. But I've been meaning to ask you, because I didn't have your phone number to call you. You expressed an interest, I think, in taking up Cosmic Joe's challenge. About he would give $10,000 to somebody who could prove that the election was stolen, the presidential election was stolen.
No, that wasn't me, and I don't think I'd waste my time doing that.
So you're not going to accept my invitation to you to appear. I know it's getting old hat and everything, but it would be a really interesting Saturday special to have you and Cosmic Joe arguing that topic on the Saturday special. Would you be into that? Because that's what I was going to ask you. He wants you to come and claim your $10,000, which he doesn't think you will, because he thinks you're chicken bleep.
Well, wasn't it Mark Twain who said, you shouldn't argue too much with a fool because you'll both be mistaken for fools? And that isn't to say that he isn't a wonderful man and very intelligent about some of his.
He's extremely intelligent. I know that firsthand.
But I've noticed that about a lot of people that are extremely intelligent. Sometimes they don't seem to have much in the way of common sense about things. I don't know. They put these blinders on.
Should I put that down as a yes?
No, I don't think it's a yes.
All right. Well, so much for that. Listen, Cosmic Joe, at least I tried.
Okay.
Yeah, and everybody could hear it, too, so.
That doesn't mean he isn't.
He might be listening himself.
That doesn't mean he isn't a great guy, because he is.
He is. It's true.
Yeah.
I've gone on walks and hikes with him, and nobody knows more about the heavens, and the stars and the positions of astronomy, not astrology, astronomy, than Cosmic Joe. Okay, Downtown Owl, what did you call 479-1080 about?
Dr. Blasko, I'm 62 years old, 6'3", 185, 190 pounds. No history of problems like diabetes, as far as I know. Used to be really active in terms of running, hiking, kayaking, that type of thing. But I was working under a deck several years ago, and I was squatting down to where my toes were kind of hyperextended on the balls of my feet. And after that, I felt kind of like this pull at the tip of my big toe, like when I flex my big toe on the left foot there, right at the tip of it, kind of where I think the extensor hallucis muscle or hallucis longus inserts. So when I dorsiflex,
it's very, very technical.
Or I flex my toe, I'll feel this pull right at the tip of my big toe. And what started to happen after that too is when I would wake up in the morning, my kind of first and second, digits down there would start to feel like numb and tingly. And then when I'd get up and move around, it'd kind of go away. But now it's kind of extended, or it's started to move in also into my right foot. So when I wake up in the morning, they feel a little bit numb and tingly, and then it goes away. And I do have some lower back issues too, so I don't know if it could possibly be related to that.
Well, it's very difficult to say, without having examined you. But all the things that you said are possible. So I am not exactly sure what I can say from here. Short of that, it needs to be examined and the cause of the problem needs to be figured out. Because perfectly healthy people still can have neuropathy. Because what most people do not understand, that you can have neuropathy just by the sheer process of becoming older, by wear and tear of those nerve endings. And then you had a small injury there. That injury could have injured some nerve endings in that area. I don't know. It needs to be investigated.
Okay. Well, I'm a member of Kaiser, so I'd probably go to them first. I mean, would you suggest what, X-ray as well as an MRI?
Probably X-ray wouldn't say much because this was a while ago and the bone was, if it was broken, or maybe the tuft of the big toe was, crushed in that position. I don't know. But an MRI or a nerve test would be something that would be able to tell you if you have neuropathy. MRI, if you have any kind of rupture or disruption of that soft tissue area there. I don't know. And then from there on, once one knows what is there, then we can discuss treatment options. But the primary doctor is a good choice to give you referrals to all these departments.
Okay.
There you have it.
Yeah. Can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
Is there anything you can do in terms of because as I get older, I notice like the fat pads aren't what they used to be in both my hands and my feet, and what can you do to kind of protect against that or?
Well, once the fat pad is gone, it's gone never to return.
Oh,
so
I can't eat more, huh?
that's gone. But what usually we do in the office, it depends on the patient's preference. We have special covered inserts, custom-made inserts that not only change the way they walk and redistribute the pressure under the sole, but also put special coverings, soft coverings with soft spots on it to protect those areas that are more painful. And what is usually not an insurance covered item, there are fillers now these days that we can inject in that area, and they have to be redone every 6 to 9 months. The same like women have fillers in their face. We can do that in your sole for that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes. I am telling you, podiatry is becoming the rage.
It is becoming the rage. I know.
Well, I lied. Can I ask you one more question? Why'd you decide to become a podiatrist? Because people don't realize how important their feet are until you've had a problem with them, and then you're like, man, I really rely on these things. So what made you decide to become a podiatrist?
I like variety. I like outcome-based medicine. I don't like doing stuff just to keep busy. And with podiatry, I see a problem, I can fix it, I can see improvement. Patient goes home, has a life, does not have to move in with me to supervise him permanently. And also allows me to do things from nail care up to amputation. So I can choose and pick, and it's still taking care in a very universal way of that patient, making sure that he keeps on walking. So it's not like, oh, I go to the dermatologist, what is this? Oh, psoriasis, or like 15 diagnoses, and what's the treatment for all of them is hydrocortisone.
Oh, yeah, great.
I don't have that kind of a personality. It's not working for me.
Right. Hey, well, thanks a lot, and
You're very
we'd love to
welcome.
hear about your experience in behind the Iron Curtain. So,
Yeah, golly, there's less than a half hour left to talk about, but we got to get to Gordy and Angel, and Zoltan is calling. Wow, Zoltan. Okay, thank you, Downtown Owl. Okay, here's Angel. You're on.
Hi, Michael. Yeah, I've been waiting to talk to you. I'm going to be moving out of the state in about 4 or 5 weeks, so I got several things I want to say. First off, will I be able to hear your program on the internet live somewhere so when I know when to call in?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, we were one of the first stations to stream since 1995. I think it was 25 years we've been streaming online. And we have this wonderful we have this wonderful app called KSCO. Search your app store. It's free, and it gives you an archive with show notes for some of, unfortunately not all of, some of the shows, like China Uber Alles, our Thursday show, the likes of which there is nothing in the world of talk radio other than right here. There are incredibly good show notes for China Uber Alles. There are incredibly good show notes for Dead Doctors Don't Lie, the talk radio show that we've been doing for 25 years. And there are incredibly good show notes for the Saturday special, courtesy of Dave Michaels and his orchestra. So, and anything that we produce locally is available on demand forever.
Okay. Now, let me talk to you about a couple things. First, funny thing, that one caller, I've got a bunion, he's got a bunion, everybody's got a bunion. I'm sure Tom would make a song about that.
Tom would love to make a song about that, yeah.
And that led me, when I heard that song today, I had to get the name of it. I'd never heard that thing before. It's hilarious.
Brotherhood.
And that led me.
That's from the album, his most popular album, That Was the Year That Was. Came out in 1966 or 65, I think. Anyhow, I have that whole album.
Should have been 2020.
Yeah.
Should have been the year 2020, right?
It's true.
Okay. Which led me to a suggestion for your program. Remember Dr. Demento?
Yes.
I think the Saturday special could use a funny song or two every week to help break up the tension that we're all going through. And I think you should make that a regular thing on your program. Nobody else is on your program. Because on top of your singing, which is wonderful, and I enjoy the Monster Mash, that's my favorite one that you do.
That's just talking, though. Anybody could do
difference.
that. Anybody could do the Monster
No,
Mash.
but it's the accent, it's your timing, it's everything. And I could not tell the difference between the real one and you when I heard it. So that's the saying. That's one of your best ones. You get really good. But the other thing is that should be on your program. And I wanted to ask the doctor a question also. I have a friend in Texas that has that pain that shoots up from his feet. And they put him on medication, and that medication, I believe, was causing him other problems, too. But he could not go to sleep at night without that pain. Now, is there any way he could do something else besides take yet another pharmaceutical? That they just keep throwing pharmaceuticals at you right and left, and I want him healthy because I had him on Dr. Wallach's supplements, and they were really helping him, but he can't afford to buy them right now. So is there anything else he could do other than those stupid pharmaceuticals? Keep him healthy. I'm trying to get him healthy again. He's got type 1 diabetes now instead of type 2, and I don't want him to go through yet another pharmaceutical because he's having some other medical issues, and I think all these chemicals are causing issues.
This question is best answered by his primary doctor or his endocrinologist because he seems like to have a very complex medical history, and recommending anything here on air without knowing anything about his medical picture is really not very responsible. But
well, I didn't mean another pharmaceutical. I meant some other kind of treatment, massage, some kind of thingamajig for his feet.
But treatments in general, even if they are not pharmaceuticals, they have an impact on your body. So you have to know what else is wrong with it. Even if it's a massage, some people can have massages, other people cannot have massages. So it depends on what's wrong with them. So anything that you do to the body when you are not healthy, it becomes treatment, so it will impact everything. just because it's not a pharmaceutical, it does not mean that it cannot harm you.
Oh, that's true. I'm so sorry. I should have realized that. I used to do reflexology. Shame on me for not realizing that. I've just been so worried about him. He's my oldest friend in the world. And Michael, please put the funny songs on every Saturday.
Do you have
we need that.
Okay, do you have a suggestion? Oh, you were just talking about like what we did with Tom Lehrer earlier this hour, right? You're not talking about my singing a funny song. You're not talking about that.
No. Well, I mean, if you could do it, well, yeah, by all means, try
Do you have
it,
any suggestions?
Shaving cream.
Do you have
shaving cream?
Shaving cream? What?
Yeah, that song that Dr. Demento used to put on. So
Oh, no, I'm not familiar with that. I will take.
We'll look it up.
If there's time today, I will take one request for singing, but it has to be a song that I know and feel comfortable with.
Oh right.
Yeah. So anyhow,
I still love the Monster Mash, but that's just me.
Yeah, I've done that so many times. People are sick of it, I think.
But I mean,
you know.
Put some other funny songs on during your show because we need lightning.
Okay. I know what. A Jerry Reed song. You know.
There you go.
Amos Moses. That's always good. And the gambling song.
Did you sing Eastbound and Down?
No, I don't even know that.
Eastbound and Down from
Nope. Sorry.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Nope.
The lead. Oh.
Sorry, but anyhow, thank you. Nice to hear from you, and all the luck, and just keep calling in. Okay, thank you. Here's Gordy in Deer Creek about foot.
Yes, Dr. Blasko.
Hi, Gordy.
It's a pleasure having you on. I have edema in my left foot currently. I've had it in my right foot. I have been through the VA and so forth, been through all the gamut. Nobody seems to know what causes this. My foot swells up to 2 shoe sizes bigger, and I also get a cramp that comes out of nowhere at night while I'm laying in bed. Do you have any idea what the cause of this edema might be?
Well, without examining you, it's difficult to say. It's also unusual that it's only on one side and not on both. So it definitely needs to be investigated. And then there are treatments that help, with the compression of the water from your leg. I'm sure your doctors have tried, but otherwise, it needs to be investigated what the reason for it, and I can just not say without seeing you really.
Yeah, I am pre-diabetic, but I'm under control. Not using just the finger monitors, but actually getting a blood test, which gives a true indication of my A1C and so forth. All that's under control. Cholesterol is within normal range. All the indicators seem to say that everything's okay there. Just wondering.
Yeah, the unusual part is that it's only on one side and not on both.
Yes, and it goes from one side to the other. I had it on my right side for about a year, and then it went away, and then it starts on my left side, and it's been going on for about a year now on my left side.
So this is what I'm saying needs to be figured out first. Why does it travel? Because usually when people have edema, they have edema on both legs in a pretty similar way. Very unusual to have only on one leg and it be, let's say diabetes related or cholesterol related or anything that's related to your entire body. Because if it's a body related thing, the edema is on both feet.
Without finding the cause, is there any symptomatic treatments I can use to help keep the swelling down?
Usually compression stockings, elevation, movement, walking.
Yes.
These are things that can be done. And if the edema is really severe, there are sequential pumps that can be used and prescribed.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
There you have it, Gordy. Hope that helps. Here's our next caller, none other than Zoltan. Hi, Zoltan.
Hello, jó napot kívánok, Dr. Magdalena.
Jó napot kívánok.
Ja, örülök, hogy itt van a Santa Cruz-i rádióban. So,
Köszönöm
looks like
szépen, örülök, hogy itt vagyok én is.
looks like there are a lot of sick puppies here. So thank you for helping us here. You know?
Well, I am trying my best.
Yeah, you're doing great. As a matter of fact, I learned something very important from you already, okay? Some of the people who had some drug problem, you mentioned that they also have problem with reduced immunity.
Correct.
Okay, so that is good to know. Okay, the question what I have is, I'm 71 years old, and I have plantar fasciitis too, okay? But overall, I'm handling it very good. Okay, in December I was working a roof, so it's uneven surface. Looks like I stretched my muscle, and I had this problem for 3-4 months, but since I have a special arch support, I have to be kind of fixed up, and it worked a lot better. Then I got a walking cast, which actually throw my back off, so I have to go to the chiropractor, so I don't recommend this to too many people. So after that, my foot was doing better, but it looks like when I work, or walk in a full-size boots with a lace, so that means my foot is tight. During the day, I don't have any problem. I can ski, for 4 or 5 hours nonstop, so that's wonderful. Play soccer, it's still good. And I'm using ankle support, that's good. So the problem I still have, the question is that the inside of my right foot at nighttime seems to be, still a little pain. So, but it's improving. So my question, what causes the pain nighttime? If I use the medication, which is the diclofenac SOD, it seems to be working good. So try not to overstretch my foot. So the question just that, I had an X-ray, everything is negative. So this inside of the ankle pain, is that something still relates to a muscle stretch or ligaments or the sciatic nerve stretching?
So again, first thing first, we need to examine to be sure. But there are certain things that I can say just from listening to what you said. First, I am slightly concerned that you are still wearing an ankle support at this date. Chronic or constant wear of ankle support will mess with your sense of balance. So that's not good long term. Okay? And every time you don't wear the ankle support, it will actually help your ankle work improperly, so you are perpetuating the reason for the pain. This was one thing that I noticed. And the second one, why you have pain at night rather than during the day when you are moving around? Well, this is typical for inflammations. That means that when you are functioning during the day, it's still not right. Something in what you have, like the insert, the shoes, or the combination of both of them, is not just right for your foot. So you keep on re-injuring it, and the area is inflamed. And at nighttime, when you are in bed, your blood flow slows down, and the metabolites that create pain collect in that area, and you are hurting at night. During the day, when you're moving around, you have more circulation, and those metabolites get washed out, so you don't feel the pain.
Wow, okay. Is it anything to do with rheumatic arthritis?
Again, I need to examine you, but this is very typical for any inflammation, what I just described, not just for rheumatoid arthritis.
Make it a day. Make it a day, Zoltan. You and Maria could go to San Francisco, see Dr. Blasko in person, live and in person, and then get an answer.
I will be going up there to make an appointment with you.
Yeah.
Sounds great, Zoltan. I look forward to seeing you.
Here comes Doug in with a question about walking shoes. Doug, you're on. Hello? Doug? Doug? There's no Doug. That means I'm going to have to sing. That's what we do to fill up the time. If no, he's been waiting a long time. I can put him on hold, I guess, and come back. Now, This is sort of a fun song, a Jerry Reed song. When you're hot, you're hot. Did you ever remember hearing that?
Nope.
Did you? No. Okay. So yeah, everybody's wondering who I'm talking to here. Okay, here, let's see if this will work here. Well, now me and Homer Jones and Big John Tally had a big crap game going back in the alley. And I kept rolling them sevens and winning all them pots. My luck was so good I could do no wrong. I kept just on rolling and controlling them bones. Finally, they just threw up their hands and said, when you hot, you hot. I said, yeah. When you're not, you're not. Put all the money in and let them roll again. When you're hot, you're hot. Well, now every time I'd roll them dice, I'd win, and I was just getting ready to roll them again when I heard something behind me. And I turned around, and there was a big old cop. He said, hello, boys, and he gave us a grin. He said, looks like I'm going to have to haul you all in and keep all that money for evidence. I said, well, son, when you hot, you hot. He said, yeah, when you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. You can explain it all down at City Hall. I said, yeah, when you're hot, you're hot. Well, when he took us into court, I couldn't believe my eyes. The judge was a fishing buddy that I recognized. I said, hey, judge, old buddy, old pal, I'll pay you that $100 I owe you if you get me out of this spot. So he gave my friends a little fine to pay, turned around at me and said, 90 days, Jerry. When you hot, you hot. I said, thanks a lot. When you're hot, you're hot. And when you're not, you're not. He let my friends go free and throw the book at me, and he said, when you're hot, you're hot. I said, I'll tell you one thing, Judge, old buddy, old pal. If you wasn't wearing that black robe, I'd take you out and back at this courthouse and try a little bit of you on the bond. You understand that, you hillbilly? Who's going to collect my welfare? Pay for my Cadillac? What do you mean, contempt of court? Judge. Oh, Judge. That's all. Did anybody like that?
It was funny.
Oh. There's no callers. I drove them all away. Now what do we do? Josh Stevens, we have to fill up like 11 minutes. What are we going to do?
Oh, 11 minutes of torture right here.
Actually, there are some things we could talk to Dr. Blasko about.
We could also do a teaser of what's up next on Thursday, too.
Oh, sure, because you do Flight 1080 then, huh?
There's that, but also what's before that.
Oh, yeah, China Uber Alles. But
That's
do we even
right.
know? Is it too early to even know what's on China Uber Alles? Amy's in the studio. That's the secret person. No, sorry. Just got to wait. You got to get closer to Thursday to find out. I know there's somebody calling. Yeah, Josh Stevens is going to screen the call. And if he decides that you're worthy of getting on the air with us. What is it? What is it, Amy? Here. So, what?
I have one question for Dr. Blasko.
Okay.
Not for the foot problems. So I'm just curious about the dictator, Ceausescu, Nicolas Ceausescu. I think in 1965 to 1989. So that period you were living in Romania. So
I was blooming under his tutelage. He was the beloved father of all of us.
Wow, same as, I was born in China, they were Mao's children.
Right.
Same
the
thing.
same concept,
yeah,
right.
But the question is, I just wondering, how did they get him out of there and also execute him on the Christmas Day? I hope that happened in China, to those dictators.
They just... it's really not clear what happened on that day because it was a lot of chaos. But what was very clear that once they caught him, they were afraid that if they don't kill him on the spot, that he's going to mobilize the army, the military, and that's going to create a lot of chaos in the country. So the idea was we kill him and then we stabilize everything. I don't know if it was the best choice at that time, but that was the thinking.
Yeah. I always think in Romania, people is more courageous than Chinese people. So the Chinese people, the way in the communist regime, even now, so nobody do anything.
The criticism of that period was that he should have maybe gone through a trial where the atrocities that he has perpetuated on the country come to light and people learn from it, and the situation does not repeat itself anymore. But in terms of practicality for that moment, I think they did the best they could.
Oh, 2015, I visit the Romania. So I visited the very square. He was being, I think it's some kind of rally or something, and then all of a sudden happened, the opposition took him down.
Well, he was always talking. He always liked to hear his voice, and there were always a lot of people around him who were supposed to clap and shout, "Hurrah, hurrah!"
Yeah. So another thing, I know he's a horrible dictator, but another thing, talk about the corruption. I think they built this. I visited this People's Palace. It was huge. They say that the corruption, everything, but that they say never found the money afterwards. Is that true?
I don't know.
The money, they think he was corrupt.
I don't know, because even during his lifetime, the money, nobody even believed that it was in the country. So the money was secreted away to other accounts in foreign countries. And he loved some of his Arabic friends. He had money stashed away in places that regular, normal business people during that period of time wouldn't have entrusted their money to be there. He maybe thought that he will have to leave at one point, but he never thought that he will be caught and shot. Because by the end of his regime, he actually believed that he is beloved by all. In the beginning, he was more rational, and he kind of knew that there are problems, right? That maybe he is not as beloved as it showed. But towards the end, he was actually convinced that he is beloved. And when you looked at his face, because they showed on TV the execution, the biggest expression or the most pronounced expression on his face was surprise. His wife, she was angry. She was cursing out everybody. But he was surprised that this is even a concept, that he might be killed. I think the moment the bullet hit him, he did not believe that he will die, that he will be executed. He lived in a different universe, had nothing to do with reality.
So at least, thank God, I think you come out after he's gone, right?
Yes. Yes.
So that's a bigger changing afterwards, right?
What they did, I am not quite sure, because communication, even to this moment, is monitored. So there's certain things you can say and you cannot say. But what they did, basically, they added new laws to the country, but they never removed the old ones. So currently, everybody is choosing and picking the law that fits his situation the best. And corruption blooms, so it depends on who your friends are.
So one more question. Do I have a time?
Sure.
2 minutes. I
we
think
have
this
two
morning.
Callers, and one of them wants more from Tom Lehrer.
Okay.
But
so
no, go ahead.
One of the question is MZ asked me this morning about another legend, Romania legend story, the Dracula, the bloodsucker. Is that real or fiction? That's you want to know. Maybe tell him a little bit.
Vlad Cepes is actually a real-life ruler. He lived...
But not the blood-sucking.
He looked funny because they found out that he had a thyroid problem. So he had these bulging eyes, lost weight. He looked funny for that time. And he had also a light sensitivity. So the legend starts in reality. Also, he was very gruesome. He was raised in the courts of the Turkish Empire. So he learned torture and punishment from them. So when he took over the reign of that country, he started executing everybody, started impaling everybody. A bunch of rich people impaled.
That's no fun.
Yeah, but it made him very bloody. He was a bloody ruler.
Yeah.
And, combined with his medical condition, combined with his character, Romanian people are seeped in folklore. It was not a big leap from fiction and reality.
So I visited Transylvania, and he's haunted the castle, and then you're talking about the cruelty is the bury. It's like a bury alive or something. That kind of torturing people.
Yeah.
They bury people alive in kind of special things. I don't know. They're talking about it's very.
We could do a complete program on that, and should. Don't we? But right now we have less than 3 minutes left, and Carmen and Aptos, I guess, will be our final caller today. Carmen, you're on with Dr. Blasko and poor old MZ, and Amy is here too.
The question for Dr. Blasko, two questions. Little information. I have tingling in both feet, a couple of years, and probably a little bit of loss of sensation, and I want to go see you, but I'm wondering. You did say there's a 10-minute test that can be done that sort of says something about neuropathy.
Correct.
What if I go locally to a local podiatrist and get that test done and then come see you? Because there's sort of more information that way. And then part two is I know I have like a fungus in my toes that's hard. It's thicker and it's harder to cut the nail. Okay. And there's over-the-counter things that you can buy. I just bought something on Amazon. So do you recommend any of them? Is it okay to take some of them? I'd like to do something about my feet, but my big issue is the tingling and what to do and how to proceed.
Well,
and please leave your telephone number on the air.
Okay. The phone number is 415-353-5715.
Thank you.
In terms of topicals, they usually work really well on your skin, not so much on your nails. But if you have to pick something, usually the liquid ones are better for your nails because they can seep in better under the nail plate. So any brand, they are about the same, There's nothing special about any of them as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Okay, and in terms of tingling, very few offices have this nerve testing machine. It's fairly recent on the market, and it's very expensive. So,
can you say what the name of it is? So, I want to come see you, but I thought, well, if I can do part of it locally, I would.
I am not quite sure what the brand name is, but we just call it the pseudomotor testing.
Can you spell that?
SUDOMOTOR testing.
Okay.
Hey, we're at the end of the show, gang. Hate to do this, but so hope that helps, Carmen. Dr. Blasko, you were a hit, as I knew you would be. Thank you for coming to visit KSCO for your world premiere on KSCO. Hopefully there will be a lot more. Josh Stevens, another great time. Thank you very much. Here is the end of the show.